For the Love of Daffodils. Expecting tradition, expecting a smothering of black, of sorrowful faces, expecting the epitome of dirge, whatever that meant. She was surprised by how people smiled, how vibrant they looked. Everywhere was yellow and orange and white. It had been his request to remind him of his garden. He said people should dress as if he were there, and to celebrate daffodils, his favourite flower. She had never known that. They had entered, serenaded by Cat Stevens, of all people. It's not time to make a change. Just relax, take it easy. You're still young, that's not your fault. There's so much you have to know. Father and son, a song for both the absent and her. She cried. I was once like you are now, and I know that it's not easy to be calm when you found something going on. At the lectern, sharp and clean, as if it were designed for a business conference, a man in a suit went through the motions, reading his script, talking to the delegates about a man he didn't know. For a moment she was angry. Then another man, her father's age, dark suit, white hair, bright yellow tie, stood up, standing to the side as if not wishing to intrude, knowing he was a supporting act. He looked at them, at the heavy coffin, and betrayed by his red eyes, looked down at the sheet of paper, shaking in his hands, and said, I have a message from Douglas. You all look lovely. It's like spring has sprung all over again. Thank you. I wish I could be there with you, though I am, of course, in a manner of speaking. Did they play the Cat Stevens? Something for Mac and Jess, though not very original, I admit. I hope you made it back, Mac. If not, know that I'm thinking about you, which is, I realise, a little bit the wrong way round, but there you have it. Our lives encapsulated. If I were a religious man, no, that's wrong. If I were a believer, then I'd make some smug comments about being on the last journey, knowing that there is one final glorious, never-ending tour stop where the gin and tonic never runs out and chantilly cream and pickled onions are banished. A wonderful venue for a sunset, even if no postcards are allowed. But I'm not, and so, with due regard to my few believer friends, I know I'm not going anywhere anymore, at least not consciously. Which is actually fine, isn't it? Inevitable, but fine. I've had, as they say, a fair crack at it. Life. There are some things I'm proud of, most of which are, in one way or another, represented by the people here today. Look around. Smile. If anything, remember that each one of you here is part of my story. Made up part of my story. Made me. So don't let that part of you or anything I had to do with your story slip into the fiery furnace. Never let those things go. They are precious, unique, ours. I gift them to you, for you to keep, to look after. Treasure them, please. After, people bequeathed stories of his humour, his honesty, The practical jokes he played when he was younger. There were tales of bravery too. She hadn't known he had rescued a boy from drowning, diving into the Avon fully clothed downstream from Worcester. He didn't like to boast about it, her mother said. And she wondered how much folklore had been lost to her through his modesty. And she wondered how much she knew him after all. Replaying the song in her head. All the times that I've cried, keeping all the things I knew inside, it's hard, but it's harder to ignore it. And she cried.